Okay, welcome back to Fast Performance there. My name is Tim Davies, and today we're going to look at the state of the United Kingdom. It's not looking great, I'm not going to lie to you. Right, this is England. I mean, this is somewhere in London. Look at the red buses. If I was walking down this street, it does not feel like England. It's a weird thing. The reason that countries break up, guys, is because we don't have anything unifying within us. So we don't understand the sort of behaviours and the cultures of people that have come into the country. Of course, when you do come into the country, you would have thought that you'd want to be a guest. But no, what's happened with the mass immigration? Remember when my parents were around, it was a 99%, 98% white, British, white English, pretty much white Welsh, Scottish, Irish, white British nation. And now we're going to be a minority by 2060. I mean, how quick? That's like within 100 years. We've gone from a majority English, overwhelmingly, to minority. And a lot of this is because we have to import a lot of asylum seekers. I think France has just said that if you come over from Gaza, you won't be able to be sent back there. So they've said, I think they're going to accept 2 million Palestinians. Now, if you remember, Palestinians were responsible for pretty much the collapse of Jordan and Lebanon under the PLO. And in Iraq, when Iraq went into Kuwait, remember, a lot of the Palestinians that were in Kuwait actually supported Iraq and were expelled. 400,000 were expelled from Kuwait because of that activity. That's why in the Middle East, a lot of people just do not trust the Palestinians at all. And I wouldn't trust Palestinians to come into my country either. Why? I don't want them here. I don't want anyone here, really. If you want to come in with asylum, fine, but not en masse like we're seeing. And what we're seeing are more things like this. This is outrageous. This was a young man called Blue Stevens, I believe, who was stabbed outside a casino in the middle of London for his watch. I'm not saying immigrants have done this, but what I'm saying is there's more behaviours like this in the country at the moment, like blatant behaviours of people running. And this is the problem we've got. The little black electric bikes, the black bikes that are going around with people in balaclavas. A lot of these are white kids as well, but influenced by this culture, this immigration culture that's coming to the UK. People were saying I'm racist now. I'm not saying I'm racist at all, but this is what's happened. This man goes to London with his wife, I believe it was. He's got a watch on, gold watch. He gets stabbed outside of a hotel, dies. I thought they were never going to catch these people, but they have arrested 3 men, luckily, in their 20s with it. This is the middle of London, absolutely crazy, in daylight. Now I'm a big statistics guy. Statistics can be manipulated and used, but this guy here is saying Muslims are 6.5% of the population. Don't forget, as I said in the last video, 3.9 million Muslims in the UK at the moment. From 2021, we're in 2025 now. So how many more do we know about? They're actually here. I mean, it's incredible, really. Our population is no longer 66 million, is it really? Vastly over that. He's saying here, there's some statistics, 97% of terror deaths since 2000, 75% of terror threats. I thought it was a little bit lower than that, but I'll go on. Yep. 18% of prisoners for 6% of the population. Now, if you know anything about per capita, 3 times the amount. This is ridiculous. This video here is from London. I believe it was in Manor House, which is a suburb of Hackney, is it? I thought this was to do with the rapper Top 5 coming over and chatting some rubbish, but I don't know whether the two are connected. Either way, this is the sort of thing you'd see in Mogadishu. This isn't the sort of thing we'd see in the UK. Look at the balloons they're all holding, these weak men. Look at the balloons, they're inhaling this kind of gas stuff. Look at this is ridiculous. I mean, smashing to get into the car. I think someone was stabbed here, I don't know. But the whole thing is, I'm playing this now. Does anyone see this sort of stuff before? Did I miss out on this? Did this happen in the UK and I just didn't see it? Because it's happening now. Look, they're trying to drag this driver out the car. Let's listen fundamentally with the problem of having such a high level of immigration. I thought France was the first country to fall. I think the UK is the first country that's going to fall with something seismic, some event that's going to happen. Arguably, the grooming gang should have been enough, but, you know, we're a very accepting nation, as I've said before. Listen to Chris Phillips then, the Shadow Home Secretary, I think, for Croydon South.
We see reports of migrants based in hotels being charged with serious crimes, including rape and sexual assaults on women and children. Louise Casey has warned that a significant proportion of sexual offences are committed by those seeking asylum. Cases like 29-year-old Afghan Sadiq Nikzad, convicted of raping a 15-year-old girl. His defence counsel claimed he did not understand this was wrong due to cultural differences. This madness has to stop.
What kind of excuse is it? I didn't know it was illegal. It wouldn't have happened if they hadn't been here. There are some countries, by the way, like in Thailand, you have a road accident, the police will come up to you and they will say, well, it's your fault, mate, because if you weren't here, if you're a British man, if you weren't in Thailand, it wouldn't have happened. Therefore, it's your fault. Why are we not doing it here? It's not good enough. The problem is, I think, I honestly believe this, until it starts happening to the elites' kids, until it starts happening to the wives of the elites, they won't think about it because they live in a Westminster bubble of a different planet. People outside are starting to notice though. You can see all of a sudden, and this is quite relevant, I'll tell you why. A quick advert for Ground News, who sponsor this channel, luckily, because YouTube ain't giving me no money, fam. You know what I'm talking about. All the stories you'll find on the front page here that are current, however, you can search for stuff in the bar at the top. When you click on a story, then it will show you here, look, what's left-leaning, centre, or right-leaning. It's a right-leaning story. Let's click on it. And then straight away it gives you a summary at the top there. All the stories here, down there. You can even expand it for more articles if you want at the bottom. On the right here, it shows that there's 34 articles, there's 5 left, 14 right, and then there's 5 centre. Below it then, the bias distribution shows that this is a right-leaning article, and you can see here, Fox News, Israel, all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Here, factuality, expand that. You can see which ones are more factually correct than others, and so you can see who owns it as well. Where are your biases in this? Click on the article if you want. You'll go straight to that website then, and at the top you can see there's a bar that drops down as well, again showing where these biases are. You can then look at left-leaning articles and right-leaning articles and not get sidetracked by the mainstream media. 40% off, thank me later. Because there's a history, especially here in Northern Ireland, the Battle of the Boyne, they always burn a big bonfire thing. They always have an effigy on there, and the effigy this year is Stop the Boats. You can see here, so they put a big boat over this massive thing that's huge, and they set light to this. People in the UK had a big issue with this, and most people went, well, no, they do it all the time. And it's a sense of what people are interested in. What are the problems that people are facing right now in Northern Ireland? And good British people in Essex have turned out, because apparently in the hotel down in this place, Epping was it? There was someone that abused a young child. And so they all stood out there. Now, it did get a bit violent later. And what you'll see is scuffles. It seems to be like people would sort of turn up on the left, a bit like Antifa had in America. They turn up on the left with placards to support immigration. I think this chap here. And of course, the police are here as well. The people are having none of this. You know what I mean? You can't have none of it. It's all over now. It's like, well, what do you want? Do you want to allow this then? Because you can't. The risk is too high. I'm not an advocate for violence at all like this. Don't get me wrong. The police are going to be unable to stop this. And I've said it before, guys. There aren't enough police in the UK. 170,000 max, most of back-end staff. With the military, it's 130,000, the entire military. It's not possible to stop the overwhelming feel of the British people towards what is happening to them that they have not asked for. And so what happened? Someone climbed up there and actually put an English flag on this hotel that's accommodating the migrants. Now, I mean, some of these are genuine asylum seekers, but we know many of them aren't, and that is the problem, isn't it? Are we tolerating it or not? Well, obviously, the good people down in Essex are not going to be tolerating this. And actually, you know, or not arguably, why should they? And this is one of the big problems, isn't it? No one's talking about this at all. Now, there is a line of thought, of course, that says that all the hotels that actually allowed immigrants to come into them, and they obviously got the free furnishing, they got paid for by the government, should be boycotted by the British people. And I'm not necessarily in disagreement with that. When you phone them up to stay, it's a very simple question. Did you house immigrants when they came over? And if the hotel says yes, you know they took a government contract. I'm a big fan of saying, all right, well, you took the government contract, you took the government money, and therefore you're not going to be taking mine. And I'll go and stay somewhere else. Someone like Premier Inn, I think, didn't host any immigrants in their hotels. I'll put my money where I want to put my money, and I'll put my money into hotels that are being run by good British people, good family hotels. That's where I want to stay. I don't want to stay in these big chains, if it was chains, or hotels like that housed immigrants. Put immigrants into native British populations, endangering people there. It's absolutely ridiculous, and the government is to blame.
What's going to happen when all the free accommodation, free food, free everything dries up, but the people on the boats keep coming? I'll tell you exactly what will happen. These people will let the British public know how grateful they really are. When the freebies run out, anybody with anything of value will be next. They will come into your local supermarkets, your butchers, your bakeries. They will attempt to come into your homes. Crime will shoot up. We'll have tent cities. And essentially, it will come to a head. Because these politicians have put these people all over the country.
And we're going from a high trust to a low trust society. Look at this. This is in what, Derby or something? Broad daylight, people hacking in with hammers. These look like they're young white boys here. You know what I mean? This is ridiculous. How on earth have we got... Let me show you... I'm going to show you, like, this in the UK, us going into a very low trust society. I'm going to show you something from America now. I'm going to leave with this. It's a long video, guys. Look, I would just say as well, I'll leave with this last bit. I'm a big fan of the United States, what's happening over there. Some very good people, some very good Christian people. And just before I do, this is England. You can buy quail eggs. You can buy eggs in England, and you leave money in a pot. This still happens around where I am as well. You just take some eggs, you leave the money in a pot. And this is going because what we're finding, these pots are stolen, they're removed and they're taken. We're also finding an increase of rubbish being dumped, fly tipping, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? What happened to the old England? Let's have a look at this last video. So as Eric Prince, CEO of Blackwater, says here then, Wyoming is what America was, he says. I had the chance to glimpse an old school high trust society this weekend at Coding, Wyoming. I think Wyoming's a great place. I'd love to visit Wyoming. My wife and I want to go out there, in Montana and Utah, those kind of states, beautiful. At the antique gun show, vendors whose table were covered with like $100,000 plus of high proliferable antique firearms would step out for a smoke or to walk their dog and to leave only a sign, back in 10, on their unguarded table. I hope you don't mind me talking over the anthem. I'm just going to finish what he said. He said there was no crime nor foreign invaders. It's easy to forget this level of law and order was the norm, not the exception. All high noon, all attending, paused for the national anthem played on an old cavalry bugle. Our republic is worth defending from those who would wreck this. I'm wishing you all the best, but look, don't neglect what you have now. Fitness, family, finance, I've said it before, fuel, and a bit of faith there, and whatever that means to you, whatever that faith is, you do you, all right? Let other people do other people. Up here, that QR code, that does help with the channel, checking your biases. I appreciate it, guys. Take care. Tim Davies, Fast Jet Performance.